This piece of meat is a top sirloin. It's the continuation of the T-bone section. This is the part from down here that runs out into your T-bone, and then you have on the top right here, you would have the what we call the butt portion of the beef tenderloin would lay across this part of it as well. So this is what it looks like from both sides. This piece here obviously is from the hind quarter end of it. You have a sinew that runs right through here. You have a cap piece here. In French, it's called a culotte, and it's called a culotte steak. It's one of the first things we try and take off. As you can see, it separates out all by itself. It has a different run of grain of meat than the bottom part does, so you want to cut it separately from the other part. A lot of meat cutters will cut it straight. They'll cut it straight through like this, and then just cut down the middle of it. What we're going to do is we're going to cut it into 3 pieces and make steak out of it. This top piece here, I'm just going to take off. This is our stew portion. It's just a muscle that runs across the top of this, and we just want to clean it up and just follow. As you can see the sinew right there. You just follow it down and just plop it off, something like that, and put it to one side for the time being. And then you just want to trim some of this other stuff off here to make it usable for yourself. And I'm just going to do that very quickly here. So here we're going to take off the cap portion, and you just follow the sinew down. It just kind of peels away all by itself. You can just about rip it off yourself, and then when you get where you can just see the fat, you just cut it off like so. You put it to one side, and then you take your cap piece and you just trim a little bit of the fat off. Don't take all it off. You don't need to do that. Again, it's like any other steak. The outside fat is not what you need to worry about. It's what's inside. You just kind of trim it off, clean it up. Now what you have is you have a fairly square piece. You can see where the grain of meat runs. I like to take this single piece of meat and cut it in half. It makes it easier with a small home knife to cut it. So here's in half, like so. And put it to one side. And again, this is the part where you have most of the sinew, as you can see. And so what you want to do is you want to start from the, when it's laying down, you want to start from the big side, or you can see it here. This is the big side, so that's the side you want to start on. And we're cutting into steak. So they'll look something like this. That looks small, but for a lot of families, that's about all you'll want. When you calculate it out, there's actually quite a bit of meat there. Unless you really want to go hog wild, you can cut these into 4 whole pieces, the whole thing, if you want to do that. But I don't know, I think that there's more than enough here, so this is what we do. Sometimes I'll turn it over and I'll go like this as well. And on this piece here, I'll probably only take one more. Then we come to this culotte piece, and we're just going to trim it off, and then we'll cut it to steak as well, but we're going to go, of course, cross grain with it. There are a number of people that like to marinate this and make a roast out of it, and it makes a very nice roast. Steak roast, if you want to call it, or whatever. But again, this piece of silver skin here, you want to take that off. You just stick your knife underneath, blade up. And that makes it just that easier to chew later when you cook it. So here we're going to cut the culotte piece, or the sirloin cap, and what you do is you can actually see the grain, and the way it's running is this way here. So obviously you want to cut it going cross grain like this, not like this. Or as when it was laying on the animal, you'd actually be cutting it in similar to form to this. So that's just off angle from it, and it can make it sometimes a little tougher than it should be. So we take the first piece off like so, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. I make these a little bit thicker, and then I cut them in half. But there you go. That's what it looks like when it's cut. It's a perfect little steak. Perfect little steaks. And that's for stir fry. And again, as you can see, we have cut up sirloin butt, or top sirloin, for steak. Hi, thanks for visiting us and watching these videos on meat cutting. Just want you to have a good experience in cutting your meat at home. I trust that this has been helpful. And just remember, you started with 10, you need to end with 10. Thank you.